Well, are
How do
we
you think?
ready for this?
We'll cut it from here and we'll
Yes, we'll cut it from here.
we'll stop all the illegal illicit drug substances stuff
Right.
and
I'll probably keep this part right now. This is probably where the episode will start with us talking
yeah,
about cutting here.
yeah, we'll cut
No more
here.
illicit drug talk. That's right.
Yeah, or the rock and roll stuff or the partying and the
Yes,
decadence that is
that is heavy metal horror.
everything. Yeah, everything that is horrible.
Right.
Um, but
Right.
yeah, let's dig into this. What are we
Let's think
doing
it's
today?
well today first. I guess we could do the intro and then get right into it. How's that?
By all means.
Okay.
This is an X-Men, and you're watching heavy metal horror.
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
I'm Justin Biggs, and you're not.
And you were watching and listening to Heavy Metal. Kitties, kitties. Yes, tonight we have a very special episode. Chop Top isn't here. He's at Horror Hound, spreading the good news of heavy metal horror to other horror fans. But tonight, Justin Biggs from Sorcerer is joining us for our very first track frenzy. That's right. What is first track frenzy, you ask? Well, because we heavy metal horror are getting inundated, pleasantly so, with music from different record companies saying, here's a record for you to review, give this a shot, try and listen to it. We really just can't listen to all of it. I mean, I've in the last year received about 200 albums. I just can't listen to it all. So I've been saving it. Thought this might be a good way to start listening to some of these bands, give them a shout out or talk about their music. And if we like something from that artist, we can always listen to more or invite them on. So that's First Track Frenzy. Justin, we're going to be sampling 7 tracks from 7 bands. And why the first track, do you ask? Do you have any idea why I might have chosen the First Track Frenzy?
I have no idea. I'm guessing maybe it has to do with the word frenzy.
No, it's a nice match there. No, because I have found in my experience that first tracks often signal the feel of the whole album.
Ah, now I
You
understand
listen,
it.
you,
Now
you
you're doing
listen.
we're doing the first track
We're
from
listening
the
to the
record.
first track from each band's record, from the record. First track one, track
Okay.
one, track one.
This is like listening to like Fight Fire with Fire from Ride the Lightning or Invaders from Number of the Beast
Yes,
or
yes.
Ides of March.
Tom Sawyer
Yeah.
on Moving Pictures,
Tom
right?
Sawyer from Moving Pictures. Yeah.
Exactly, right. The first track on the albums really, I think, shows what the album's going to be like. You're going to get a feel for the band. You're going to get a feel for this album. I mean, where Eagles Dare, I'm like, oh,
Oh,
that, exactly. You hear it. Holy Wars, The Punishment Due. Like, okay, fuck, you know.
yeah.
So I thought, well, what a great way to start sampling some of these bands and to thank all the record companies for sending us this music, than to listen to the first tracks of 7 different albums. So that's what
We
we're
should
doing.
also tag these. We should also tag these guys. Like if we get the band names,
Oh yeah, I've
I know
got it
I'll share
all.
them. I'll share it on my social media, and you can share it on yours. And
Wonderful.
we'll tag them, and we'll tag the record companies with them as
Yeah,
well.
and
Like, hey,
some are your label mates as well.
no shit.
Yeah. Now for those of you who may not know, and I'm hoping that there are new people joining it today. Justin Biggs is a bass player, all around cool guy, um, at a band called Sorcerer. They are from Sweden, and we got to know you, year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that, when you came on for an interview, and then it is just
I'll back
coming
in.
back, and now we've just had this ongoing relationship. So, um, yeah, and we're huge fans of your music,
We,
by the
we
way.
released Lamenting 3 years ago. So no, almost Jesus, almost 4 years ago. It
Yeah,
came out in 2020, and you interviewed me for that, and we've been friends since.
that's right. That's right. It's very cool. Before we proceed on to First Track Frenzy, I do want to talk a little bit about Sorcerer. I want to ask, how is Reign of the Reaper doing? How are sales going for you?
Sales are really good. If you ask like the new how the market looks nowadays as opposed to as it did in the 80s or 90s or the early 2000s. But sales have been really good, and I think that the band are really happy. Like we're all happy about just the way everything has turned out, and
Reception's been consistently positive
yeah,
across the
and I
board.
mean that's kind of the cool thing with Sorcerer as well. Like we have like a really good, you know, just awesome fan base that have been consistent over the years. Like whereas we've been trying to, be consistent with music, they've just been consistent and understanding and just loving, and it's been a great process. And I think that this record, being a how do you say, like it's been a step away from what we normally did. It was a welcome surprise. It was an introduction for new fans that not necessarily really like these like long epic songs, because this album has a lot of shorter songs on it. And yeah, it was just a welcome surprise. Yeah, I'm just chuffed with the overall reception of the album, and we're playing in places that we've never played before, and getting offers and stuff like that. So I think that slowly but surely, the grind is the grind, and
Mhm.
we're just enjoying making music and being able to play. That's all there is to it.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
it's great because
fun.
we loved the album. I mean, we did a live review for those of you who new to the show. We did a live reaction to Reign of the Reaper, and we were all hesitant to do it, and be only because Justin, because we like you guys so much and we like Sorcerer's music. We're always like, what if this album isn't good? Like, well, and that's our where was our worry, like, oh my God, like, man. And so far, fortunately, every album that we've listened to has been really good and really wonderful and on rotation. And I know Dreadbull is no longer on the show, but I can say this now because he's not on the show. Of all the bands that we've ever talked about or interviewed, Sorcerer is his favorite. So
Oh, that's
it's on constant rotation. He listens to it like it's on a steady rotation in his house.
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, especially like when he
That
works
makes
on
me
like his
happy.
gaming stuff, you know, and so yeah.
Well, if we can do that, that's what it's all about, really. I mean, it's not about having the big mansion in like Beverly Hills and living like David Lee Roth
Yeah.
or anything like that. For me, it's just about the one thing I love when we're out gigging is just taking the time after the gig or even before the gig, just going out and mingling and like talking to people and having fun.
Mhm.
Listening to their stories. Obviously, they're there for the band, and they want to say some stuff. And I listen to everything, even if it's bad stuff. There might be somebody that's there just to say like, "Hey, fuck you." It's like, okay, well,
Right. Yeah, you can't make everybody happy. It's
yeah. But
impossible.
normally when you get those, I'm just like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but can I get you a beer? You might not like the music, but I'm still a nice dude.
Right,
you
right. Yeah.
know.
But
So
what I liked about you guys so much is I love your albums. I see a progression throughout them. The album, as far as the quality of the production value, it just gets better. But just the overall sound of the band has evolved and and just gets stronger every album. Because I love Lamenting. It's like just so good. And like, and I listen to this one, I'm like, oh fuck, man, this is even better. It's just such a good album. So yeah, it's just a great band. But you had mentioned that you've been doing a lot of touring, and I've seen you've toured more now with this album than I've seen you tour with Lamenting, obviously for other reasons. So how are those shows going? Can you talk about some of those places you've played?
yeah, I mean, we did the headline festival at Hammer of Doom, uh, and that's like going home. For us, we played that festival, and actually, when Sorcerer, a little fun fact. Uh, when Sorcerer kind of got back together in 2010, they played Hammer of Doom. But this was before my time, of course, and they headlined the festival. But there was a certain band who opened the festival. Do you know who that was?
Certain band opened Hammer
A
of
certain
Doom.
band. They were playing Doom.
Opeth?
No,
Doom.
the
Trouble?
band in question. It was their first gig outside of Sweden, and the band in question was Ghost.
Oh, really?
It was their first gig
Oh,
outside, and it was their first, big festival. That's at least what you know, that's what I've been told. I'm
right,
not too sure if
right.
that's a fact, but I know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
at least when I've been listening to Ghost since their first album because I love that first album. The rest is like for me, it's hit and miss, but the first album was
I'll have to
mind
listen
blowing.
to it because everything I've seen, I love the look and I love the whole priest thing he's doing. I love all that, but the songs I want them to be heavier. I'm hearing stuff that's like,
You got to
I
listen to the
really
first one.
okay. I'll check out
Opus
the first
upon
album.
Opus Eponymous is if you listen from that to start to finish, it is like I mean, they were doing this whole nostalgic thing. Like there was a lot of bands that like did the '70s revival and stuff like that, and there's a lot of good ones. Don't get
Okay,
me wrong, but I think that a lot of the bands that were doing this revival thing ended up falling into the trap of sounding like the people that they were influenced by a bit
oh
too much.
sure.
Whereas Ghost, they had like this obvious Sabbath, kind of like Alice Cooper
Mm-hmm.
poppy sound. And it was still like the first album's like muddy sounding. It sounds really
Mm-hmm.
dirty and heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of like, this is what these bands would have done in the 70s had they been allowed to sing about Satan
Sure.
in all the greatness
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It was just like this is what we needed 30 years ago,
Right.
and now we got it.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I,
that's
I
well.
really,
I'll
it's one of
check
my
it out.
favorite albums. I love that album. The first Ghost album is like I don't care what anybody says about Ghost. That first record, it was just like I can remember like listening to that and telling my friends, this band's gonna be fucking huge. And they're like, no, no, he's dressed up like a pope and singing, about Satan. He's not. They're not going to be a big band. You can't even see their faces, and look at them now.
Yeah. No, that's how I saw them on YouTube. I loved their logo, the inverted cross, and I loved the front man. I'm like, oh, I'm in, and that's where it stopped. I'm like, oh, I can hear elements of the music that are heavy, but it's just the stuff that I've heard anyway is way on the poppy end, and like it. I guess I'm wanting it to be a heavier, but I will try the first album. I will. I
Definitely, and I
will.
mean Tobias, the singer in Ghost, he's been playing in death metal bands and stuff like that, and black metal bands for a long time.
He's probably
So
happy to be making money finally. You know?
yeah, of course,
Right. It's like, I've been making shit money playing in these death metal bands, and now I'm actually enough to live on. Yeah.
yeah. So that's a fun fact. Ghost was there, and from what I heard, they played a great gig as well. So, uh,
Well,
but
they're
all in all, I mean,
live. The look is great. I love that.
live they're fantastic. They're phenomenal. I mean, there's no. I miss that as well. Music, like I miss the shock rock
Yeah. And like
kind of
and
thing.
Ramstein too. If we're gonna go, I mean, as far as performances, it is like Germany's answer to Kiss.
Yeah, but
In some
I
ways.
think it's gotten a bit too big to be
Ah,
fair. Like
okay.
it's gotten a bit
Well, they're playing
too
stadiums.
massive.
It's
Yeah,
massive.
yeah, but it's too much. I really liked it like during like the era like Rise or Mutter albums and stuff like that, or even Rosenrot. Those albums like it was still big. The production was big, but it was still you could see the band now. It's like when you go to the gig, you get the fire pit or the fire zone or whatever it's called, and it's just all fire. You don't even see the band.
Oh, okay.
It's just you're there getting burned. So I mean,
Nice.
for me, I don't know. I love Rammstein. It's not that. It's just
Yeah.
I won't go to a gig.
Yeah. I guess that's
So
that's the the duality of the nature of the beast of success. Like you get successful, and then you have to kind of always feel like you got to outdo yourself, or people might expect that or something. So
Well, I can appreciate that they managed to do something that no other band has ever done, and that was teach the Americans how to sing in German. That's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like when I was growing up, I was like, oh man, the fact that a band is singing in German,
hmm
and we have all it was in Canada as well, like Canada and the
yeah,
US.
yeah,
The fact that this band has people singing in German, that is insane.
because the German bands. Let's see, the biggest German band I knew growing up in metal era was Scorpions.
Or
You know,
accept.
except yeah, and they all sang English.
Yeah. But that's the way it
Yeah,
is.
so
I
I
mean,
I I I I just enjoy because Rammstein's not something I would normally listen to, although I like the industrial thing. Like there was a metal band that had a lot of industrial way back in the like late 90s, early
Nine Inch
2000s.
Nails, Ministry,
No, it wasn't them. I'll remember it when
Typo
I'm not.
Negative,
Yeah, it wasn't those. I know those
White
bands.
Zombie.
No, it was industrial death metal. Yeah. I'll think it when I'm not so high. But
Okay,
I'll
cool.
yeah, I'll bring that back to
Hey,
you.
we
Because
were not going to be talking about the illicit drug
oh,
uses.
this is not illicit.
Okay,
It's legal. I'm completely good with that.
it's within the confines of leisure.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay, that's
Well,
that's fair enough.
that is. Well, I guess we're gonna get into these songs now. So the first song is by a band called Tarot, and the song is called "Glimpse of the Dawn" from the album "Glimpse of the Dawn." And this came through Clawhammer PR. Thank you, Clawhammer. And this comes out April 12th. So by the time this show hits, it
Is it
should be out.
tarot like tarot cards?
Tarot like tarot cards,
But
Tarot.
but are they from Finland? Because there's already a band called Tarot. It's
There's
Marco
a
Hietala.
there's a lot of bands called Finland, or called Tarot maybe, but I don't know where they're from. I know nothing about it
All
other
right.
than this was on one. Like, it sounds good. I like the name. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if we can that makes any sense. Where are we at here?
This is new for me too. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm going to share my sound. Make sure we're all up. Oh, share. Cut that.
It's
Can you see the screen now?
I can see it. I
All
can
right.
also see a sneak peek of the songs we're listening to in the
Right.
future.
So there they are. Right there they are. I'm going to play this and I think I've got the volume up so you can hear it as well, but we're going to give it a try. This is Tarot, Glimpse of the Dawn. Can you hear it okay?
Yep.
Yeah. So feel free to talk. We could talk between tracks, comment
I
as
like the
we go.
Hammond organ.
Yeah. Sometimes for me it's helpful to I just start making associations between these sounds and other bands that I know. This
It
sounds
sounds very
authentic.
Swedish.
Yeah, it sounds authentic to me.
It sounds very authentic.
Yeah, I like the progressive so
Yeah, but
far.
this is almost better. It sounds muddier than what Opeth was doing, like Heritage and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like,
yeah.
this is kind of like what Mikael wanted to do. Okay.
Love that riff. That was great. Don't know the guitars and
I like the bass in the background. It's on a bass player.
heavy melodic metal, but it's not. It's very 70s in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's
You know, like almost like a kind of reverberable kind of
yeah, it's got like that old like goblin vibe to it, you know, like that sound. Yeah, that old 70s sound.
the guitars, like the
Yeah, even the like here, like the guitars and the bass are getting together. Yeah, it's like listening to like an album from like the Maiden 1981.
Sure.
That sound.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that goblin mentioned, yeah, that chord breath, that run was very much like a goblin.
Oh yeah, I think this is like heavily influenced. Like it has to be.
Yeah, now I gotta go watch a Shield Fulcher movie. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to call Clawhammer and arrange having an interview with Taro.
Yeah, are these guys on Blade?
These are Clawhammer PR.
Clawhammer.
That's who sent it.
Yeah, it's in the road.
Yeah, it's not overly heavy. I mean, the guitars are kind of, you know, there's slight distortion. It has that nice hard rock.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's a good starter. I mean,
Oh yeah, I like it.
I don't know much about this band, so I mean, I don't know how long they've been together or anything like that. So I'll reserve any bias or anything like that, or any like really super critical opinions, because like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. This is my first time hearing it.
Yeah. Well, we have to put up the album like this, but I can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like this the whole way through, I can get my ears around it.
Yeah. I'll be a fan for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the vocals were a bit, you know, they were good,
Mhm.
but I think that given the music, they could have been a bit, just a tad bit more refined. But I mean, maybe this is the first album. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know
And
anything about them.
and that's not to say he's a bad singer, because he's. I mean, he can obviously sing better than I can. I can't sing my way out of a wet pepper bag. So I mean, um, but you know, it does the trick. I could listen to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a
So,
nice groove, you know, and it's
yeah.
something that you can put on the background. It's got a nice groove. You nod to it, like yeah, you could while you're working or doing anything. Uh, but you know, I liked it. I was again know nothing about any of these bands. I try not to read too much other than knowing if they're coming from these metal labels. You know, they're might be worth a chance to listen to. I love the
Yeah,
groove,
I
the
mean,
sound, the organ, and I definitely hear that Opeth Goblin kind of hybrid
yeah,
in a
but I
lot of
mean,
places.
that's the thing, you know, with Heritage, they're going back to like Goblin and stuff, because when I saw Opeth, it was here in Sweden, and we were traveling to Finland, and they were playing on a boat called Melatonin. Uh, it was like this super huge prog boat, you know. You had like Fredrik Torendal from Meshuggah, and he had like his earlier, you know, band Soul Blap Within. I won't say the whole name because there's a bad word there. But he had his band there, you know, and he had Mats Morgan jazz band with him doing like his songs and stuff. It was very impressive. But
Wow.
Opeth played that boat in order for them to play it. They said, "We'll do this boat, we'll headline, and we'll play a new song, but we want you to get Comus to play," which is like this obscure 1970s progressive acid rock band that no one had heard of except for diehard fans. So when you get on this boat, there was like a whole bunch of like 60, 70-year-olds. They're like, we're here for Comus. It was like, whoa. And yeah, it was brilliant. So it sounded like, this old, like this band, it was terrible.
Mhm.
It sounded like this kind of like what Mikael was trying to achieve with like Heritage or what's the name of is it Pale Divine or
Pale
something like
Communion.
that? Pale Communion.
Yeah, I see. I love that Pale Communion, and you could really hear the goblin in Eternal Rain shall will fall. Eternal Rain shall fall.
Yeah,
Or will
Eternal
come.
Range Fall, yeah.
Yeah,
Or will come.
that keyboard break into like the middle of the song, it is, or right before it gets into the verses, it is totally a Goblin. You can really hear it. I'm like, oh, that's Goblin, because they even have a
Yeah,
song called Goblin later on that is, I
which is
think,
which is a tribute to the band
to the
Goblin.
band Goblin, right? You know,
So,
um, yeah,
but I
provides the
think
greatest soundtracks. I mean, Dawn of the Dead. All these. I love that the fact that they made music for their own movies.
yeah, but
That's
they
just
had
awesome.
like Profondo Rosso, like the Dawn of the Dead soundtrack and stuff like that. But I mean, what I was trying to say was Åkerfeldt, even though he's like a musical genius and stuff like that, and trying to achieve that sound, and he did it well. Don't get me wrong; like you could definitely tell that that was like a nod to the '70s era.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I felt like this sounded actually a bit more like that. It was a bit
Mm-hmm.
more like I Opeth has that money to put on production and stuff like that. So the Opeth records actually sound more produced than this did,
Mm-hmm.
and this actually nailed that sound kind of to the T, like
Mm-hmm.
that old vibrant sound, that warm, proggy sound.
It might have been recorded, analog, which would be nice. You
We'll
know,
have to ask them sometime.
yeah, when we have them on. Would you like to join us for that interview?
I think I'll join in on that one. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great. No, I totally get it. I get what you mean there. Yeah. Um,
So yeah, good track. If
it
that's
is.
the first one, all right.
Yeah,
That's the shape of things to come.
yeah, I hope so.
What's
And
next?
track two is a band called Protosequence,
Okay. This
and
sounds like death metal-y, Fear Factory
could,
esque.
yeah, it could be. And the song is called Sam.
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 Sam. All right. Let's see what
Yeah,
Sam stands for.
trying to get and the album is called Fishers of Men. Oh no, sorry, Bestiary. Bestiary. Got ahead of
Bestiary.
myself
Oh,
there.
you just gave away the next song.
I know, how horrible of me.
Okay, this was not what I was expecting.
No, it's very musical, and the album cover too. Very,
Yeah,
very,
I saw
very,
I saw the album cover as well. I was
yeah.
like, what?
So the kids can buy this album.
Yeah, this is
This is brutal death metal. Yeah, and technical.
yeah, I would say technical death. I wouldn't call it music, but well, as a kid we enjoyed for sure.
Bass drum. Like listening to Protosequence. It's a fest coming. Like that, yeah.
going on. I hear a lot of influences like the Fuse, stuff like that. Very modern. It's outside of my comfort zone personally.
With you there, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I like this. Like,
That was unexpected.
that's what's cool about it. I like the fusion, and I kind of expected this to come.
I'm hearing little snippets of like rigor mortis from versus the earth in here, and then from freaks. That little riff is like chained in the attic.
Yeah.
Or 6 feet under, warms the earth.
I mean, this gives me like kind of like early faceless vibe with like a different kind of like singer. I mean,
that headbanger quality to it.
Yeah, it's still good, you know. I would like to see how they do this live. As long as there's no kids living like this. Stupid fucking spin cookie thing. If somebody ever does that, I mean, I don't care if it's like, oh, dude, it's like totally cool market. I'm gonna knock you the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't think that. My fair share of some stories.
But this is for me.
I like the vocal range. You get the low string and they get high vocal range.
I'm trying to listen to the lyrics and figure out where the word sound comes from.
Yeah, I don't know. It's SAM or SAM.
It has to be like an abbreviation or something.
Yeah.
Oh, there we have like that, you know, that pig squeal at the end.
No, like
I can't even do it. You know?
no. Yeah, it's well, that was
Yeah,
uh very interesting.
I'd have to listen to the whole record to get a real grasp on them. I mean, for me, I'm not a big fan of like uh, don't get me wrong, I can appreciate what they do, but I don't like bands like Bring Me the Horizon and stuff like that. Like this like kind of fusion of death metal, pop and hardcore with like these breakdowns. It's just not my cup of tea. Uh, I'm more into like as you said when I said it wasn't brutal death metal. Like for me, brutal death metal is like the old like '90s stuff, like
Cannibal Corpse and those
early
things. Yeah.
Cannibal Corpse
Okay.
and stuff.
Yeah, I
And like
didn't even think of that as being a like a name. There's so many splits now and so many ways to identify specific styles of music, you know. But yes, after hearing it, like okay, the vocals weren't. It wasn't just the vocals, but yes, technical death metal. Yeah.
but when I listen to it, I hear like you know, early like the Faceless, like I said, like which is a great band. I love that band. So which is why I would give these guys a chance because it's like I heard that one song. It's like maybe this song wasn't my cup of tea, but maybe the rest of the record is, you know.
Yeah.
Because I can remember when I heard the Faceless the first time, I was just like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this is weird." Uh, I was like, "I'm not really too sure where I stand here," so I have to
So
listen
I
through
liked
the.
it. I couldn't do. I like death metal, but I can't usually do it for a whole album or hours and hours of it. Other than like Carcass, I can listen to Heartwork beginning to end, you know. But
Yeah,
there are other bands, you know, Cannibal Corpse is hard, Cattle Mutilation, you know, there's all kinds of bands that are just, you know, you guys are amazing musicians. I've seen Cannibal Corpse live. They're phenomenal. And seeing them live is one thing, you know, but yeah, it's just I can't do it a steady diet. I just, you know, it's just
well,
hard.
I mean, a band like Cattle Decapitation uh, comes to mind here. Like I could hear some influence there for sure, and maybe that was intentional or unintentional. I'm not too sure because,
Yeah,
like I said, it's the first time I heard these guys.
right,
But
right.
uh, there you have a good a good band, like with Cattle Decapitation, there you have like the singer who's like he steals the show totally, like has like this brutal death metal growl, but then almost like his clean, I guess you could call it clean, it's still growling, but his way of singing and kind of like growling, it's almost like Udo from like
Mm,
Accept, like this really raspy,
okay.
cool. So I would like to hear maybe, hopefully, this guy on this album is doing some other kind of singing, because right now for me it was very static. It was very the same
Yeah.
until the end when he did that pig squeal. Then I was like, okay, he maybe has something more in his pocket.
Okay. Yeah, it
I was
went
like,
to the
okay,
witchy, the low growl to the witchy, unless they're, yeah, that screamy, that monkey screamy. So, all right. Well, track three, also from,
but it was good.
oh,
It was a good track, by the way. It was a good
yes.
track,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm going to give it a
Protosequence.
chance.
Yeah, yeah. It's uh, technically the music was just phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah, these guys are great. Okay, the next band is called Devil Moon Risen. That's the band. The song is called Bad Sketch of a Killer. The album is called Fishers of Men. And this is Clawhammer sent this album to us. Thank you, Clawhammer. And so here we go.
let's get into it.
Heavy, heavy riff. A lot of layers to it. Dense sounding. Production value.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
It's like trying to do a different song.
That's really weird.
The vocals sound like She Wants Revenge. The singer for She Wants Revenge. Darkwave band? Is that what they come from? Darkwave. This sounds like She Wants Revenge. But great, great metal groove at the beginning. You know She Wants Revenge, right?
Pardon me?
Darkwave band, She Wants Revenge. You know that band?
No.
No? Okay. It sounds a lot like that. Darkwave.
Just for me, it's like it's like if you had like Nick Cave, Fear Factory, or like Nick Cave meets maybe old Slave.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily seen. Trying to paint a picture with the lyrics. His voice is instrument as opposed to singing.
Yes, his vocal performance. He's got that very easily attended, just the high end. It almost sounds like he's talking to like a megaphone or old timey recording. A little warbly. So yeah. But it threw me for a loop because it started doing this line right here, this melody, but wasn't as heavy. It went to a really weird, like, oh, okay, this is Darkwave.
Yeah,
But I like the tempo of it, you know? Heavy. Now the extreme. Not a few of them. I like it. I like it screaming.
but I just wish they would do a bit more instrumentally.
Okay. They've stayed in the groove.
It's the same riff, two riffs. This riff,
Yeah, it goes up an octave.
and it's just play on that, and then
Yeah. Some kind of bridge, some kind of else.
here's the difference.
The groove is great, and I like the kind of dark waveness of it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded interesting in the beginning for me. This was, I kind of wanted a bit more in the music, I guess.
Yeah,
I like the
wasn't.
singing.
Yeah, it was interesting. It wasn't overly complicated. It had the groove and it did what it wanted to do. It reminded me a little bit of things like Nine Inch Nails, that not that heavy sound, but that kind of the song structure. I could see that sound is a very like early 2000s kind of sound with that, you know, that repetitive
If
kind of monotone or back and forth, like a tonal quality.
if I was to compare it to something, I would compare it to like Pulp. You know, the British band Pulp.
I don't.
There's like a pop band called Pulp, and a really eclectic singer. So you got that guy, and then like fusing it with like something like Nine Inch Nails, and like something from like industrial metal or
Okay.
something like that. You know, I kind of got that vibe. I kind of have to hear the rest of the record. I wasn't
Hmm.
really it didn't catch my ear, this one. This was a bit like,
Hmm.
okay, what's happening? You know,
Yeah.
I probably would have, you know, kind of skipped halfway through to the next track to hear what's going on.
Well, maybe track two will be the one.
Maybe it will, and
Maybe.
maybe I'll eat my words. And if I do, I hope so. You know, I hope that the band, sends me a message and says like, "Hey, man, listen to the next song."
Yeah. All right. Devil Moon Risen. I love the name. Yeah.
Yeah, great name,
Yeah.
but
Um,
it sounded good anyways. Like it wasn't a horrible song by any means, but
no, it's catchy. But it is very limited. It stays in that narrow riff, but some
uh,
songs work that way. And if you're putting this kind of music, because it's not there are some interesting twists that I did not expect. And if you are meant that dark wave, or if you want that kind of slower, but there's a lot of emotion when screaming, different kinds of vocals. Yeah,
yeah,
it, there's something there. There's a lot. I think it might grow a little bit on the next two or three listens. You might hear more things, but
I
the
probably
groove
will.
is still
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Okay, this is one of your label mates on Metal Blade,
Yeah, I think
um,
they're from the Faroe Islands.
Hamferd. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, could be because I couldn't. I had to. They offered an English translation because I could not read it. It's not in the language that I know. I'm a
Yeah,
multilingual illiterate. But the
yeah.
Hamferd and the band, that's the name. The song is called "To the Storm." That's the translation, and
And what
the
album is it from?
"But Strong is the Hand of God" is the album.
Yeah,
Right. And are you familiar with this band?
I'm not so familiar, but I can read the Men Menguds Hund, and I can't see it behind the
Yeah.
window, the wee window there. Yeah, so Menguds Hund är stark. So that's like Menguds hand är stark. So the but God's hand is strong,
All right.
kind of.
Thank you for translating it. Bring it to
That was
us.
what like when you're speaking Swedish, it's like man, it's the same thing, but Guds, good, God, hund, hand,
And
hand.
Sturk is strong.
Is
Uh,
or är in Swedish, and stark is stark, so strong. So yeah,
nice. Well,
there you
there's
go.
your Swedish
There's your
101, kids. There's your first lesson.
there's your Swedish lesson for the day.
All right. Well, let's go to the storm. Certainly sounds like that Nordic
Yeah.
metal. A lot going on.
Yeah.
I really like the singing.
This is what when I think brutal, like this is the kind of like vocal I'm talking about.
Yeah. How sludgy it is, the dirgy quality to it, and this
Oh, nice growl.
what they tune down to below the D, right? Looking at sharp, B sharp, B.
I don't know if it's in B or C. But it's low.
Yes, I love the sludgy quality.
I like when there's like this growling and this really nice background, picking and oh,
Look at that. Oh, wow.
nice.
Yes.
That was nice. Wow. Okay, that was like
This is like progressive, brutal.
that I really
progressive.
liked. That was like a blast out of left field. Like what?
Yes.
This reminds me of like ECS Vortex from Dino Borgir. When they were doing like the death metal, and then the bass player would come in and do like really, grandiose singing and a beautiful voice. This guy's really nice.
It cuts through.
Yeah, it's really nice.
This part reminds me a little bit of Sermon.
Yeah, it's almost like he's setting up a pulpit and preaching to the sermon.
Well, no, the band sermon.
Or the congregation. He's preaching his sermon to the congregation. That's really good.
Harsh.
Really good play on the atmosphere.
It's not complicated, but it's that note, that sustained note.
Yeah, and then the tremolo kicking, the solo, really cool.
Yeah.
And I like that it's just straight, nothing fancy. It's just, in this instance, less is more for the drummer.
Yes.
It gets the feeling out.
Different
Sense
song.
of desperation. Cool.
Well, I love that they can go back and forth between those two very distinct voices.
Yeah. There's some harmonies here as well. Yeah, underneath, right here, it's like some really low harmonies. And then we're going. Or maybe that's like the guitar or something. Like the low string on the guitar. I don't know.
Yeah. ending it. Now we're back to the death metal.
Yeah. But this is what I like variation.
Yeah. You're not going to get bored with this.
This is like brutal death metal vocals, variation, atmosphere. For me, that's a perfect good starter. Like, I'm already hooked. I want to hear the rest of the album directly. And it's no offense to the rest of the lot, but this one I would go back and just be like, yeah, I want to hear that song again, and then the next bit of record, it's
yes, I want to hear more from Hamferd.
That was my favorite of the tracks so far.
I have to agree. I love the tarot. I thought that was really fun. And this one, I mean, they've all been good, but you know, things appeal to you in other ways. But yes, this one was
I'm more of a death metal type of dude. So I mean, for me, that kind of like ticked my boxes and stuff like that. And I love prog and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
yeah. Well,
when
progressive
it comes to
is just what's happening in some of these metal bands. This is still be considered progressive. It was eloquent. It was operatic at times. You know, there's a lot of things going.
Yeah, but this one I felt had the most. If I was to like compare it to the rest of the tracks, this one had the most variety in terms of like grandiose. You know, it was like they were utilizing the atmosphere correctly. If I could say so, like there was growling and stuff like that, but it was moving you along. It was kind of like for me reading the Iliad. When I read the Iliad, like I read it, I can burn through that book like no problem. I'm reading it and there's just a pulse to the text. It's the same thing with this song. I had that feeling like, okay, I'm listening. And as soon as those clean vocals came in, I was like, okay, now I'm hooked. I want to hear more because it sounded so different in comparison to the death metal vocals, the brutal ones that were there. And I was like, all right, hooked. Show me the rest of the record, boys.
Nice. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
well
it'd be
done.
lovely to get them on.
And Andreas at Blade and Brian at Blade. Well done signing these guys. They sounded awesome. So good choice. Good choice.
Excellent. This is so surreal. This is great. Okay, so the next band we are going to do is a band called Ingested.
Yeah, that sounded very death metal. And what's the name of this track?
The track is called Paragon of Purity. This is the Hamferd. Oh, the Hamferd album came out March 22nd. So go out and get it. Invested Paragon of Purity, or Ingested, excuse me. Paragon of Purity. The album is called The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams.
The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams.
And this comes out April 5th. From
this has to be a death metal band. If it's not, I'm going to be disappointed.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We will find out here in just a second. Okay.
Yep.
Low. Yeah. This is like the sweet spot of death metal. You got two kinds, the screamy or the growling. In the well.
He managed to squeak in that.
I'm hearing elements of like Nile on some of those sludgier tracks. Like this guitar riff.
for me, it reminds me of like early habitation, stuff like
Yes,
that.
yes.
Very
Extreme.
it's like modern reverb.
Ooh, a nice little stop to break the cymbal.
When you hear that ride though, you know it's gonna happen.
First time I saw James Foley's to watch him play, get that swivel action.
Yeah.
I've never learned how to play it. I'm more of a player with my legs.
Swivel beat is really cool too.
It is. It's cool to see. I don't know if I can ever do it, but
I think Gene Hoglan is doing that, swivel beats.
there's so much low end. That's something nice and kind of cuts through it cleaner.
This is all like super down tuned. But this is one thing I don't like. This is a matter of taste, I'm not a big fan of the breakdown. For me, it's that's what the kids like, but I don't know. Maybe I'm too old.
We're getting old.
Like this for me is not. I don't like this.
Staccato nature.
Like this sounds cool.
Guitar, but there's something to keep you focused.
Like this is cool.
Tempo change.
Because they're actually playing notes.
Yeah.
And like just the open breakdown thing, like that dun dun dun. Like if you were to pump E and just go bum 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 bum, and then just kind of like headbang and either you pull your guitar up here or you do like the crab thing and put it up over here and the singer's going row, 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 row. For me it never appealed to me. I thought it was lame, but I suppose that they actually the majority of that song sounded really good. I just didn't like that one part.
Right. Yeah. Again, death metal is one of those things where I like it in small doses, small quantities, but I liked that because toward the end it just got so slow and low. I was like, man, I wish Chop were here. He'd be laughing his ass off because it's an extreme, but they're really good and it changed tempo. I love that clear soaring guitar, um, during the solos. But yeah, it's not one I would go to as if I'm just driving to the store, probably, but I
Well,
will certainly listen to them. I want to
I
listen to the
mean,
rest of the album.
this is more my cup of tea. Like I really enjoy what they were doing. Like I said, the
Yeah.
cattle decapitation that I love that band. So I heard a lot of that in this
Yeah.
band. And I hate to do that to new bands as well, like pull references
That's
and
only what we
stuff
have
like
though.
that.
It's what we have. It's what our experience of knowledge. You have to do that first. And we've
Well,
always been careful to say, look, we're not comparing them to it. We just say this reminds me
no,
of,
it
we're
reminds
all,
me, yeah.
yeah, we're all inspired by other people. And yeah, yeah.
There's very few bands that have come out with something that just blows me away. It's like I've never heard that before. So, I have that point of reference. So if these guys are watching, like, keep it chill. I'm just referencing bands that I know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm old and don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know.
Well, we liked it. I mean, it
But I
is
enjoyed it.
fucking brutal, and just kept on
I'm
going
just
lower and lower. I'm like, oh fuck.
I'm just not a fan of like the these modern breakdowns. I'm just I don't get it. It's for me. Kids are like doing this. This is one of those bands that they have the mosh pits that do this thing where they're like this, and it's like,
Yeah, I don't
oh
the
my
kicking and
god, I
stuff.
hate
Yeah,
those.
I don't get
I
it.
fucking hate those kids. Normally, when I see that on stage, I tell people to stop it because I think it's
Good.
it's so annoying. It's the most annoying thing I've ever seen in my life, and it's like if you're that desperate to throw your arms around to get yourself ventilated and to feel good to hit someone, you know, impartially like this, closing
Yeah,
your eyes and like, ah, it's like you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. So, but the music was good,
yeah,
anyways.
it was. It was. All right, track 6 is from a band called Signs of the Swarm. Great name.
Hmm.
The track is called Amongst the Low and Empty, and that's also the title of the album. This is from Century Media Records. This came
Ooh,
out
okay.
actually last July. So, all right, let's see here. Share that, and here we go.
Also, one of those breakdown things that I'm not particularly fond of. This,
Yeah, you're gonna like this one. 4 minutes of it. I think I wonder sometimes when I see death metal bands and their logos are almost indecipherable. Like, how am I supposed to read them? How do you design it? I love that.
oh, here we go with the.
Sounds like the bass drum on a trigger, like a
They've got the USB stick in with the.
drums definitely sound very either almost like a drum machine, the way they're running the triggers and sampling.
Definitely triggered. Definitely.
Yeah.
Or fixed in the studio. I don't know.
Yeah, because these are not like drum sounds. The real acoustic drum sound.
Yeah, I mean, there you hear like that.
Yeah.
It sounds. It's like I've seen great drummers. I don't think there's any drummer that can do that.
Maybe it's the drum machine. Maybe I don't. I can't.
Oh, there's one guy. There's that Spanish dude that says like stuff one-handed while smoking a joint and plays it on drums. I can't remember his name, but he's been blowing up my Facebook.
Well, then maybe this is the guy who's like that. So amongst the low and empty,
Oh,
you'll have to let us know.
I think that dude's one of a kind. But, I think that most of this is done in the studio.
I like this part. I like this kind of groove.
For me, it's
Yeah, you don't like this stuff. Super proud of it. Yeah, I can't. No, man. If that's a human drummer, I want to see footage of this.
yeah. I would like to see how they do this live.
I mean, if it is, man, good for you. Good for you, motherfucker. But
If it is, then it's like, dude, you're a fucking machine.
yeah.
But then if it's a computer, it's like, dude, you're a fucking machine. Yeah, no, fuck off.
It's got to be one of those things where it doubles the trigger speed, like you just click on it and set it.
Yeah, that
studio gimmickry. I mean, this is definitely aimed for an audience that is not us.
Yep, it's definitely not our thing.
It's not our thing, and that's okay. I mean, that's what the point of doing this.
Yeah, I mean,
Is the live reaction. We can't possibly like everything. There were elements that I thought were good, but go ahead, man.
yeah, but like you said, there's elements that I enjoyed, but for the most part, for me, it was a labor to get through it. It's I don't like that monotone. There was no melody, so for me, it was lacking
Yeah,
in
yeah,
melody. But like I said, you know, this is the first track. I don't know what's on the rest of the album, and I'm
right.
definitely going to be, eating my words certainly on certain bands here while we're doing this. And I respect that. There's probably going to be people from these bands be like, hey, man, fuck you for bad mouthing it. I'm not bad mouthing you guys now. I'm just hearing
Yeah,
the first song and
and
giving
all
the
we're
first
doing is
impression.
reacting to it, and again, you go into it sight unseen. We don't know what's going to be in there. We don't know what kind of music's
Yeah.
going to be, and everyone has a particular taste. And something also, there is a difference between as a consumer of music and a performer, a creator of music. So I remember, like one band I was in, Charlotte's Web. I probably would not have necessarily listened or bought our music, but I enjoyed playing it. Like
Yeah.
there was a joy in creativity, a passion in playing. So there's a happiness even playing in music that you normally wouldn't get otherwise. And so that could be the case here, but it's we're older school than this. It was okay. I don't know if I want to listen to a whole album of that style of the fabricated double bass drumming.
Yeah. For me, it was like as soon as I heard like that, it almost sounded like a fart. I was like, nah, if that's what they do live, like I would be like, no, that's not my, nah,
All right. Well,
it's not my,
Justin,
not,
that was not our
next
thing.
one,
Yes, it's not our thing. We're down to
next
one more
song.
track. This is a band called Skeptical Minds. The song's called The Awakening from the album Karen, as in Kharon or Charon.
I wonder if it's like Karen, like
The
the boat
Boatman. Yes, I think so. I'm
boatman. Yeah,
hoping. I'm hoping.
I would hope so
Um,
too. And I'm hoping that there's some mythology because I saw that and I was like, okay, there's an inkling here.
yeah. So, and this Hard Life promotion sent this to me. Came out in December of 2023. So, we are going to let me share that and let's get this one going. The Awakening.
Like a harp.
Almost, yeah. This.
Oh,
Almost sounds like King Diamond's
right.
wife, who sings on the Puppet Master. It sounds like her.
Yeah.
I would not have picked this for an opening track for an album. But if they're this kind of operatic,
It's interesting. I like it.
yeah, her voice is kind of haunting. It's way more mellow than I expected it to be. Almost dreamlike.
need more to happen on the drums.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'm thinking this might be also like programmed, almost.
I'm keeping hoping, but it does something different.
Yeah, me too.
Say to this,
It was good in the beginning, but now it's
right?
Now it's kind of drawing on.
You get the 6/8 time going, which kind of lends that itself to that rocky, dreamy.
I need something to blow me away.
Right.
Nope.
Still keeping into that 6/8 time. Just playing in the chord progression. I think Dreadful would like this. It's a background kind of music, you know. It's like you're putting it on if you're doing other things.
Yeah, if you're washing the dishes.
Yeah, it's a sleepy, drowsy. Well, for sure. I would like to.
Cool riff.
It's a great riff. I'd like to hear something and a little different. I don't think we are because we're going to hear the song.
And there's no real change in the vocals.
Yeah. That's just the narrow band of the chorus.
You know, and I think, you know, even though she sounds a good singer and stuff like that, that sounds like King's life. You know,
Yes.
Master and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Very reminiscent. It's very easy for me to fall into something like this, like, okay, this sounds good, and shit on other bands for being overproduced, or but at this point, like when I'm hearing like the drums that are very basic, you know, there's nothing filling out, it's the same the whole way through.
Could be a bad mix. Because a lot of people don't understand the drums and the tonal quality of the drums because it's just there to keep a beat, but that's not
Yeah,
the
but
case at all.
I think
All right.
I think that, you know, with that band, you know, once again, I have to listen to the rest of the record, but it was very monotone, and whereas a lot of bands, you know, they go over the top, like within the last band that we heard there with the extreme triggers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, yes, it's like guilty, but there's also like a thing like when you have like these musical passages where it's just kind of like bum, ba, bum, bum, ba.
Right.
It's
Right.
like, all right, somebody has to do something. Either the bassist needs to fill the room out, the guitar player needs to do something,
Mm-hmm.
but having it go through the song the whole way like that, it gets a bit tedious. Like,
Yeah, I
not
wanted
to
it to do
say,
something. It's not bad.
yeah,
It's just yes. It
I was
and
waiting for them to do something and they didn't do something.
yeah, and for an opening track, again, going back to the idea that it kind of defines the sound and anticipation of the album. If this track is the indication of how the rest of the album is going to sound, it's a very kind of
I probably wouldn't have listened to the rest of the record.
yeah, it's a very sing-songy, kind of lullaby almost, and but it's very limited in its scope and as a
It's
as
like if I was to put that one on while I was going to bed, that would probably be the only song I heard.
yeah, yeah, it is. It's a very like a lullaby like. right. And I could. It's like a gateway to other more complex bands who do kind of the same type of thing. Like Nightwish and those other kinds of bands. But it yeah, I don't know. That one, I will listen to a couple more tracks. I'm going to listen to a couple more tracks
I
on all
gotta
these
listen
records.
to a few more tracks on that one, but
Yeah,
I have to
but
put this out there, guys. If you're watching this, if you're hearing this, I don't hate your music. It's just that that song was a bit boring for me. So I'm gonna listen to the rest of the album and figure things out. I love the singing and stuff like
mhm,
that,
yeah, there are
but
good
in
things.
this song, it felt like it was just too much in the pocket and not. They were playing it safe.
Yes, yes, I would agree with that. Yes, I agree. I
It
like the
was like,
singing, but it didn't vary. We have the same good riff. It's a good riff. Changes keys,
yeah,
and then even in like during the part where nothing varies. Even the vocal melody is also very limited,
yeah. It was
and
just
it could be that's
this,
intentional. If this is their style, this is their sound. But I do hope the other songs on the album do something more. I would agree with
yeah.
that. But
But maybe that's
but
they must be like a doom band or something like that.
yeah, yeah, something. But you know. But anyway,
Coming from
um,
a doom guy.
coming from a Doom guy, right? Well, I want to thank first. Excuse me. Cut that out. Um,
That's the weed.
yeah, coming at me. Uh, I want to thank everyone at Clawhammer PR. I want to thank Kelly Martin at Metal Blade, Nikki Law at Breaking the Law PR, and Mike at Hard Life Promotion for providing all the great albums for us to review. So thank you all so very much, and thank you for the music. Seriously, I mean, I've got so much music. It's a hard thing to complain about. I'm not complaining, just we want to try and get through it, and hopefully this first track frenzy kind of thing will help us do that. And we're going to be doing more live reactions soon, and we've got some special guests coming your way for future episodes, including a slugfest that you will not want to miss. So, Justin, before we head out, is there anything else that you'd like to let your fans know? What's happening with Sorcerer? You got new shows coming out in April. I think you're going to be back on the road, right?
Back on the road in April. We'll be out in May as well. We got some stuff going on after the summer as well. But all in all, I think we're just kind of waiting things out, and we want to kind of play places that we're not playing so often. So
Like
we're looking out
Cleveland.
for those gigs.
Got to get you in Cleveland. Oh,
Oh yeah,
I didn't win the big Mega Millions. That was in the United, that was in the States. Here's $1 billion. But if I do win the other smaller jackpot of 800 million, I'll be sure to have you guys come over for a festival.
we would love to play in your backyard and do a barbecue. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
it's gonna be like a 3-day fest of all the bands I really love. And I'm talking not like just the gigantic bands. So I'm talking, I want to bring Nunslaughter in and Ringworm in and Midnight and you guys I want to come in. I want to bring
That's
Sermon
that. I
in.
mean, even if we don't play, I'll fly in for that.
Yeah, Jagpanzer, those guys are such great guys. There's so many bands that I want to bring in, and we got Vindicator, right? Yeah, come on, Vic,
I'll
come to the show, Vic.
I'll even guest as a bass player for Vindicator.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. If
So,
Ed's touring, if he's playing with Ringworm, yeah, you could keep coming. That'd be awesome. So,
yeah, definitely
uh,
do that.
well, fantastic. And Justin, thank you for spending more time today on Heavy Metal Horror and for listening to these songs, for providing your feedback. It is always good to have you on, and I
Thank you.
just just love that we're friends.
Yep. And I love it too. And I love hearing new music. And like I said, these are the first songs that I've heard from these bands. And you know, I don't want first impressions to be lasting ones,
Mhm.
for some things. I might have it wrong on certain bands and stuff like that. And
Well, it's a first reaction.
you know,
It took me about 3 listenings before I started liking Operation Mindcrime or them.
well,
So
I
yeah,
I'm gonna be one of those guys. I don't like Queens,
I know it's okay. It's
but
okay.
either way, I just want to let these guys know, these bands that we've gone through it, like it's nothing. I don't want them to feel anything bad. I'm going to definitely listen to the albums and reach out to them and say what I really think about the album in its entirety.
Nice.
So thank you for releasing the records. Thank you for the labels for sending them to Mark for review. And yeah.
Excellent. All right, well, we're going to
stuff.
do our outro. You know our outro. You're going to be joining in soon. You can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com, listen to full episodes, or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. If you're watching, that's where you're at. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you know someone who'd like our show, tell them about us. This has been Montag, Master of Illusion.
And this has been Justin, Guy in Basement.
And you've been watching Heavy Metal Horror.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.